Okay.
All right, so we are joined from the DMV, our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., by Alexandria Gongas, cybersecurity specialist with Deloitte, one of the big four accounting firms. We got a room full here with us at Velma Jackson High School, and we're recording this for all of our computer science engineering students in Madison County Schools, Madison Middle School, Madison Central, Rosa Scott, Ridgeland High School, my friends Shatoria Kirksey and Angela Reed over at Old Town Middle, my good friend Angela Jordan over at Shirley Simmons, and our, of course, Germantown Middle, Germantown High School, and our Academic Options Center, and our YouTube channel. So, giving you a great big platform today. We thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It is a joy to be here. I feel honored.
Yeah, and happy International Women's Day. I know you are very big on empowering women in this field. But before we
Yes.
get into what all it is you do with Deloitte and cybersecurity and kind of your background in cybersecurity, originally from East Orange, New Jersey, which is right outside Newark in the New York area, and then went to Towson University, the great school there right outside Baltimore. So take us back to your growing up in that area and then transitioning to a big university like Towson.
Absolutely. I actually started my college journey at Howard University in 2009, but I am 21, so we're not going to do math here. But yeah, I started at Howard University. I actually started as a biology major. I wanted to go the route of pre-med, but things changed when I got a taste of campus and college life, and I pivoted my career path, took a step back from Howard, not voluntarily, but took a step back, had to recalibrate on my goals and what I want to do in life career wise. And I embarked on a journey of international relations at Towson University. And from there, I landed a position working for the Federal Credit Union of the World Bank, which was Bank Fund Staff Federal Credit Union. And from there, I learned about a lot of cyber attacks, crimes, and cyber, things that people deal with on a regular basis. And in this digital technology world, a lot of folks lean on social media. So understanding what those type of attacks were um, became important. And I saw the growing need, and I pivoted my master's program, which I attended University of the Potomac, which is a local college in the DC area,
Mhm.
and got my master's in information technology with a concentration in cybersecurity. So that's a high level overview of my life and how I landed here.
Yeah, and one thing that we really try to push, I could speak for all the other teachers, is even though there are some great cybersecurity college programs, cybersecurity is not necessarily a field you would have to do a 4-year degree to get involved in. The
Mm-hmm.
military does a lot of great cybersecurity training. There's a lot of Google boot camps. You could get another degree and get a certification at the same time, or you can go to community college, get some certifications because these skills and these jobs are not going away. And I think it's a
Right.
great example of all the cybersecurity professionals that are needed because Deloitte is an accounting firm. Deloitte is one of
Right.
the big four accounting firms. You're not an accountant. You're
Mm-hmm.
not dealing with numbers. You're
Right.
not dealing with money. But when companies are protecting this data, protecting these accounts, they need people to write the code to protect those accounts. So,
Oh
talk a
yeah.
little bit about, if you ever got sick of Deloitte, you could transfer your skills to other companies that need cybersecurity professionals.
Yes, for sure. So I started my career and my first job was in financial services, but pivoting into Deloitte, I focus on government and federal clients. So I make sure that their information technology and their information systems are secure and have the correct security posture to protect not even just government, but national assets. So as you stated, there's no one way or one track in cyber. Cyber can stretch to education. I can go and be a professor. I mentor a lot of people. I can be a professor if I want to. I can be a teacher. I can go and work directly for a financial institution. I can go to Capital One. I can go to. We service a lot of clients in the financial industry, and we also service a lot of government clients. So it's really a widespread field, and cyber as well is a huge umbrella. You have to find your lane. There's so many different lanes in cyber. So I don't do the coding per se or the technicalities. I understand the technicalities, but my day to day is enforcing, laws and standards at different institutions so that their security posture is in the right place to help manage risk um, at an acceptable level.
Yeah, and
So,
and 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 with more and more data going online, especially since COVID, there's more and more data that have to be protected, and there's a growing number of of cyber crimes that happen. And, these jobs are not going away, and these jobs are paying a lot of money. Even the careers like we studied that don't necessarily have a 4-year degree.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You can go straight into getting a certification, as opposed to going like the route of a master's. Like I pivoted my master's program because I studied strictly international relations and I wanted to get that technical background. So I went and got my master's to just recalibrate and reboot my brain. So, but again, there's different routes.
Yeah, and now all of our kids are, as young as 14, 15 years old. We got 17, 18. So how do you see this field changing and some of the things they'll need to learn? Because it's like I can speak again. I can speak for all the teachers. We can say all we want about how I'm not really into that, but these careers that require these technical skills are coming,
Mhm.
and there's nothing we can do about it. So, what are some things they need to really learn because they want to roll their eyes and get mad when we focus on the coding side of it? We're not asking them to be experts, but these
Right.
coding skills are going to be very necessary in all these fields, especially these technical jobs.
Absolutely. And I agree. And I think one thing to understand is that technology is always changing, so risks are always changing, and you have to get ahead of these risks to secure your company, your organization, and your assets. The main push right now these days is generative AI, and with generative AI, it's great, it's amazing. You can do things in your sleep with generative AI, but you have to explore those risks associated with generative AI. So that is where cyber comes into play. That is where you're assessing, what is the posture with coding on developing these Gen AI tools, and what is the best way to secure assets and information when using these tools. So just stay up to date. And that's a natural thing because each generation is more and more technically savvy, So when you're dealing with these things, you have to understand their inner, workings. For example, I'm a millennial. We use Instagram. We started with Facebook. Instagrams are getting hacked. Facebooks are getting hacked. WhatsApp is getting hacked. So you have to get ahead of those attacks to protect your information because you don't want data that you have in your phone spreading all across your social media that you want to compartmentalize and vice versa.
Yeah, now, and obviously, some of these kids have a while before they get out of. Some of them are still in middle school, but some of them they got a while before they get out of high school. So, and I know you said coding is not your everyday thing, but you're still kind of familiar with the coding side of it. So, what are some good coding languages for these kids to start getting familiar with, or maybe even get certified in before they even graduate from high school?
Python. I know Python's a big one. I have a few different tools and technology that we use, but I know that Python is the main like one that I hear folks are using. And I'm not a coder, so I can't sit and start listing all the different tools and technologies, but I just know that Python, thumbs up. And always take a coding boot camp. Educate yourself. That's another thing. I don't know everything. I'm learning every day. This field is ever changing. So like sometimes I have to go back, open my notes and figure out what's the latest and greatest on the market. But definitely sign up for those coding boot camps, sign up for ways to learn. The more you know, the more you can do, the more you can assess where you fit in and what you love.
Yeah, and obviously these technical skills are important, but one thing I like to focus on with all of our guests is the growth of these soft skills because like you said, millennials and even the ones that are even younger, well, they tend to get away from verbal skills. They tend to get away
Mm-hmm.
from being able to, and I say simple things like being able to walk in a room and introduce yourself, being
Oh
able to
yeah.
do a presentation in front of 5 or 6 people. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I've spoken in front of 2,000 people. I'm not nervous talking. I'll talk to anybody. But
Mm-hmm.
obviously everybody can't do that. But you know,
Mm-hmm.
part of this is selling. Part of this is selling to your employer. This is going to be the best plan for us to prevent these cyber attacks. Because in your
Mm-hmm.
case, an accounting person is not a cybersecurity person. They want to know how they're, you want to explain it the best you can and say, look,
Mm-hmm.
this amount of dollars is safe with what we're doing. So,
Yeah.
what are some ways that they can work on those soft skills, and why is that so important, even in a technical field?
Oh, yeah. Soft skills are super important because when you're super technical, you know how things work and you know the engineering of your brain. And without knowing how to articulate that for another person's brain to process, everyone's brain processes differently. So you have to have, an inquisitive spirit. You have to know how to ask questions, ask the right questions and make sure that you get the information you need and effectively communicate in order to work with folks. So soft skills, super, super important. I love to talk. I've had a podcast, so like I could talk all day and all night, especially if I'm passionate about something. So that's why I always go back to education and learning things so you know what you're talking about. You never want to come to a conversation ill prepared. So they
Yeah.
all work hand in hand.
Now, obviously, we have to talk about it, especially with it being International Women's Day. You are outspoken about trying to diversify the technical field, trying to get
Mm-hmm.
more females, trying to get more minorities. And I know you're a member of the African diaspora. I said it
Mm-hmm.
right. And
Yes.
we've had other members of the African diaspora join us as well. And one thing that I've learned just from our guests this year is that one of the reasons technical fields need to be diverse, and it has nothing to do with and we had a actually an author in Alabama that wrote a book about unconscious bias in AI programming. And she
Mm-hmm.
said, look, it's not that these people are mean. It's not that they're racist. They don't have evil in their heart, but they don't have the same experience. There needs to be
Right.
other experiences and other point of views brought to the table, because if it's only one type of person writing something, somebody's going to get left out. And especially, and I know you're
Absolutely.
on the cybersecurity side, but on AI,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of things in health informatics now. There's a lot of things that
Yeah.
are, and that's another area, hospitals need cybersecurity people too. But that's another area in when they're using AI to diagnose disease. We
Mm-hmm.
need we need female tech professionals. We need all kind of
Absolutely.
all ethnic backgrounds. So, what are some things that you've seen and some things that you've done to really encourage more people that aren't white men to get into this field?
So I definitely encourage mentorship. I certainly have designed and been a part of programs to build up these leaders that are not offered the same opportunities, if that makes sense. You know, getting them educated, getting them in the forefront, getting them in the conferences, getting them in the environments where they can build their network, they can receive the attention, the support, and the mentorship that they need to be successful. So I, like you mentioned, I'm a part of Women in Cyber. I'm a part of Women in Tech. I'm a part of Black Women in Tech. I'm a part of Black people at Deloitte. So there's so many avenues where, you know, information can be shared, like mentorship and support can be offered, but it's a matter of being cognizant of those needs, knowing those metrics, and then catering to those who are, you know, not as proportionally proportionately um, aware or distributed the same, you know, resources.
Yeah, and a good thing about tech, and we've talked about this, it's no secret. A lot of minority members, a lot of families of immigrants, they say, my family can't afford to send me to college, which with the rising cost of tuition is a very real issue.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody can't qualify for scholarships for different reasons, but this is a field where these boot camps is something that you can get quickly and get at a very low cost. And then
Mm-hmm.
Mississippi gets such a bad rap. Our community college system is actually great, and you can get certifications in a year. And we've had tech professionals say, look, if you're 19 years old, you've got a certification in the program we want, and we know you can run it, we will hire you at 19 years old, and you can get your foot in the door and start working.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. And there's several programs. Again, programs I lead, build out, and are a part of that offer scholarship, that offer, you know, mentorship, that offer like opportunities for students to experience, you know, a day in the life of a professional, get a mentor, you know, get the firsthand help that they need, whether it's financial, whether it's just like intellectual wise, like these things exist. So with all that being said, I want to offer myself as a resource. Like, keep in touch, reach out to me if there's anything that I can do that's in my reach. I'm more than happy to, you know, help with my network and the resources I have.
Absolutely. And another cool thing, and I'll get to the students' questions after this, is cybersecurity is one of them things, you're living in the nation's capital. I hear kids tell me all the time, I want to get out of Mississippi, where this is a field where that can happen for you. I mean, if you want to stay at
Mm-hmm.
home and do it, that's fine. But big companies like Deloitte, they will put you in these big cities that these kids dream about living in.
Absolutely, yeah. Like, not even just Deloitte. Many of these firms and companies will pay for your relocation. It is a weird time. Let me be cognizant of the economic, you know, stature right now. But there are companies that'll pay for your relocation if relocation is what you want. Or there's companies that'll allow you to work from Mississippi if you just don't want to leave home. Like, there's flexibility in it as well.
Absolutely, absolutely, which is another great reason to really, really look at these technical jobs. But I do have some
Mhm.
questions for students. This first one is Tykevian Boyd. He's in 10th grade, really into video game programming. But he asked, what advice would you give someone who wanted to get into the technical field after high school?
Definitely start your journey of college. College is not everyone's goal, but I will say that college for me, I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about time management. I learned about, I learned those soft skills. I learned about what life is like away from home. Um, I'm not saying everyone should go to college and everyone, supposed to be in college, but for me, college meant more than just what I learned in the classroom. It's what I learned in life. But if college is not the route for you, again, you can go the route of certifications. Know what lane you want to fall in cybersecurity and explore those certifications. Shameless plug. I will just say yesterday I passed my third certification in cybersecurity, which was
Oh, wow.
certified information security manager. So I know a basic, not basic, because that's not really the right word, but my first certification in cyber was CompTIA Security Plus. So just knowing
Oh,
and
wow.
understanding the lane that you want to go into in cyber is important when you start thinking, should I go the route of education in college or do I just go straight to the route of obtaining certifications? Both are learning, both are useful. It just depends on what your life and career trajectory is for you.
Yeah,
You are
and
the owner of your path.
oh, I agree 100%. If you want your path to change in life, you're the one that has to change it. Now, and I did mention this briefly, but from what I've seen, the Air Force and Space Force is doing a great job of training cybersecurity professionals as well. So that could be a path for young people. They don't want to do the college thing, but they want to see the world for a few years. And actually,
Mm-hmm.
Keesler Air Force Base here in Mississippi on the beach, that's where the tech school is for a lot of the cybersecurity people in the Air Force. And that I hear kids all the time say, I live in a little podunk town. I wanted to get out of Dodge, and I saw the world for a few years, got paid, and I got a certification in cybersecurity. And then they get out, they're making six figures and haven't paid a
Oh,
dime for college.
absolutely.
And I know
Yeah.
that could be a great route for some of them as well.
Oh
Um,
yeah, boot camps, but most of those boot camps guarantee or just not guarantee, but prepare you for these certifications and these different opportunities. So yeah.
okay. This is Rondell Ellis. He's in ninth grade, and he asked, "What is the main characteristic that is needed to be successful in your career?"
The main characteristic for me in particular, speaking for myself, Alexandra Ngonga, is resilience, perseverance, understanding that, no one road is a straight path. And everyone's story is not the same. So taking the experience of others and helping that to navigate your path, but knowing that in the long run, the things that you do to build will get you where you want to be with time.
Absolutely. This is Michael Sherrill. He's in 10th grade, one of our football players here at Velma Jackson. And he asked, "What do you enjoy most about your career?"
I enjoy most opportunities like this. I know that I am successful in my career and I couldn't have been here without the help of others and my mentors and the people who supported me, but not even supported me, the people who challenged me. All of that, is a factor to my growth and development, and I'm able to turn around and be that for other people. So moments like this are what I cherish most.
That's awesome. Well, I just got one more. This is Derek Hutchins. He's in ninth grade. I couldn't spit it out. He just started here with us, so I had to make sure I got him in the right grade. And he asked, "What are some things that I could learn now while I'm in high school to be a successful coder once I graduate from high school?"
Languages, the different languages for coding. Again, I can't sit here and tell you everything and anything about coding because I started learning coding and I was like, yeah, no, I'm not that technical. I know enough to get by, but I'm not that technical. But understanding language, looking into the different opportunities to get hands on with coding is important. It's not something that's overnight. It is difficult. And if this is something that you really want to learn and do and be successful in, it takes practice. It takes, doing your research. Everything requires doing your research. So, yeah.
Yeah, and actually, and just to plug, I know you did a shameless plug. I'll do one as well. Here in Madison County Schools, these kids in 10th or 11th grade can start our IT academy at our career center and get coding certifications while they're in high school. So that could translate into a career right out of high school if they
Exactly.
wanted to go that route. So there are several options. A lot of our middle school students aren't aware of that, so I wanted to plug that for them as well. Well, we're almost out of time, and we thank you so much for joining us. Just such a
It's a
cool
joy.
career and such a cool story. But before we go, like we said, these jobs are not going away. These skills are not going away. So first of all, why should these students really pay attention to that? And why does this field really need them to consider getting into it?
It's a growing field. It's a challenge. You know, there's never a dull moment in cyber. If I tell you how I started my cyber career and how I got to where I'm at today, what I thought I was going to be doing and where I'm at are two different things. But the joy in the fact that I'm challenged regularly and I'm learning new things and I'm never like not learning, it's good. You never want to stop learning, you know? So it's a growing field. Again, there is money in this field. I think money is a lot of people's motivation. So I'm not going to shy away from that, but it's rewarding.
That's awesome. Well, again, we thank you so much for joining us today and fitting us in your schedule. I know you got a lot going on, but it was so great to have you join us on this
It's a
last day
pleasure.
before spring break, all the way from our nation's capital, Alexandria Gonga,
Yes, sir.
cybersecurity expert there with Deloitte. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. You have a good one, Greg, and feel free to reach out anytime.
I sure will. Talk to you soon, buddy.
All right. Bye.